What's up, Slayers? Welcome back to the April edition of Slay Station. Let's go, babies. Hey, y'all. What's going on? It's Friday. It's April. What the hell is it? April 28th. And we are excited to be back to recap all of our April events. We got some exciting news and stuff to share with y'all. And again, if you're tuning in from Facebook or YouTube, make sure you grant StreamYard permission so that we can see your name when you have a comment. So all we're going to see is Facebook users. Like right now, I see hello Slayers, but it just says Facebook user. So we don't know. Could be someone's boyfriend, girlfriend, uncle, wife, husband, and we don't know who it is. So just grant that so we could see, or just type your name. But great to have everybody back. Just want to let you all know that May 1st is the deadline. If you're interested in joining Slay Nation, right? May 1st is the deadline to get a jersey with your membership. That's it. After that, we will not be offering the jersey. You could still join. It'll be a prorated membership. All that won't include the jersey price, etc. So join, right? And we love to have you slaying with us. But hey, tonight's episode is brought to you by our title sponsor and presenting sponsors, right? Don't forget Z Pro Lithium. Slay longer and slay with dependability. Use your Slay Nation code. We just announced our two winners last month, and they got their batteries in 100 amp hour and 30 amp hour. So thank you, zprolithium.com. Don't forget to go check out heatyourmeat.net right here. This is their Dalmatian rub, right? They got all different types of seasonings. Just came out with their newest product, SPG. Want to know what I'm talking about? Go visit heatyourmeat.net and save 10% with code SLAYIN10, right? Hooks at Hoodlums just dropped some new products, right? This isn't the new product, but it's similar to it. Hooksahoodlums.com. They have this is their most popular hat, but they have a heathered gray hat now. So go check it out, hooksahoodlums.com, right? We also got X-Zone Lures. There it is. Their brand new hottest product right now, the Stealth Invader Finesse Swim Bait. Drop shot, net it. I mean, you want to put a small extra wide gap hook on there, whatever, get a little crazy with it. Go check out xzonelures.com. Slay Nation members, use your codes. And then Harmony Fishing Company, the official hook of Slay Nation tournament fishing. All right, y'all, we have a bunch of guests on tonight. We got probably, I think, the biggest bass ever caught in a Slay Nation event. We got Greg Thomas joining us tonight. A bunch of our college kayak slayers who competed in our first ever College Kayak Series event last month on Smith Mountain Lake, or early this month, Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. We have our director, Jake Stem, on for that. We also got Slay Ray in the house. That's right. All those beautiful jerseys you've worn these past 4 years, right? Slay Ray. He's the guy that used to make them. Now he's doing some other stuff for us, helping us with content, directing our PA Kayak Series with TJ. So here we go. Hey, look at this. We got some love here. Jack Tibbins in the house, right? Saying Ryan Nye that he misses him. Ryan Nye, Connecticut Slay Nation member. You guys know him from KBF events. And he is down at Santee Cooper trying to bring home some gold, baby. So good luck to Nye. That's our boy. All right, so listen, real quick before we bring our guests in, some of you saw our post earlier this week, late last week, or was it earlier this week? The Slay Nation family lost a slayer, Brian Hoops, who was one of our New York Slay Nation members, been with us since we started in New York, unexpectedly passed away. Our condolences obviously go out to the family, friends, and all of our New York Slayers. A lot of them were all really close with Brian. I had a few conversations with Brian throughout the years as well. Nothing but a great guy. Always talk sports, gym teaching, and fishing, of course. And it seems like he left a big hole in his family and friends. So our condolences go out to him and our New York Slay Nation crew. So just wanted to touch base on that. So don't forget, life is short. So every time you go out there fishing, if you skunk, if you have a bad day, don't complain about it because it could be your last, right? Hate to say it like that, but treat every day out there like it is your last and enjoy it. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest of the evening, right? We got Greg Thomas in the house.
What's up,
Kyle
Frankie?
Living House. Howdy do. Michael Boyer. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. We got, oh my goodness, there's a lot of people here. Who the hell
Got
is
the sound in the house.
All right, Dylan Miller in the house. Oh, we're going to get to Dylan in a minute. All right. Who else? We got Slay to the Ray in the house.
What's happening?
Slay Ray? Whoa, you can't, Ray, you can't come in with these fancy backgrounds so the rest of us are, I got like access pipes over here in my basement. All right,
not
Greg,
my
he's got
fault.
a background too. Okay, you
You're
guys
not
are fancy.
technically
Look at Michael
enhanced.
Boyer. It looks like he's in the nightclub. He's got the night lights back there, dude. About to read a book. Right? And we got Jake Stem in the house.
What's up,
College
without
Kayak
spaghetti
Series
and meatballs
director.
tonight.
Yeah.
I
All
ate
right.
before.
Well, good evening. Great to have everybody on in the house here. And so this is it. Slay Station. We got a lot to cover for April, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to cover some of our events, right, that happened early this month with all of our kayak series, small vessel, horsepower series, the ones that have started so far. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to end, right? Not end, but we're going to leave towards the end. Central Florida, small vessel series event. That's why Greg's here, and we can't wait to hear this story and show this picture. I got it ready to share. We're also going to talk to our college kayak anglers at the end as well, and Jake Stem. So let's get into it real quick. We're going to start off with our national slot series cracked off this past weekend, right? For anybody watching, that is our national, and any Slay Nation member can take part in that. And that's 3 fish up to 18 inches, and 1 fish could be 20 inches or more, right? So this is not a new thing. Alvin, our director for that, has been running that. He's got on board with us to help build enrollment for him and bring something new. So Anthony Tallarico, congratulations. First place, 69.5 inches, right? Second place was Wilton Rogerson with 66.5. Third place was Phil Byers with 61 3/4. And big bass was Steve Boschner with an 18-incher. That was the biggest fish of the event. So there you go. So there was nothing over 20 or 20 or over.
Join that one.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
Right?
I had 63 inches this weekend.
Got to keep that in mind. And I should have wrote down what state these fellas are from, but I didn't look it up. But congratulations. Georgia Small Vessel Series. Ed Munoz took first place. Ed was on our last Slay Station. Second place was Sam Mathis and Harold Briner. Third place was Anthony and Cannon Perry, father-son team. And big fish for that was BMAC with 16 1/4. Oklahoma Small Vessel Series. First place was Dustin Clark and Connor Hobbs with 62 1/4. Joey and Steven with 49 3/4. I didn't have their last names. Third place was David Hudson and Garrett with 44.5. And Big Bass went to Dave Madden with 18 1/4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the rest of these at the end. I don't want to keep you guys sitting here listening. I'll share the rest of these afterwards. But I will get into Central Florida. So Greg, talk to us. Where was this event on again? Was it Lake Parker?
No, it was Lake Alfred.
Lake Alfred. Okay.
Yeah, it's near Auburndale, near the Winter Haven Lake chain of lakes, but it's not in there, but it's close to there. So it's near Auburndale, Winter Haven, that area.
All right, gotcha. So here we go. We got first place was Greg Thomas with 90 1/4, of course. And you better tell Carlos to pay attention. Oh, Carlos.
Carlos is a good guy, man.
I know
Carlos is a good guy.
I've known Carlos for a while. He was busting his chops there. Second place, Leonard Grant, who's always done well, 86 1/4. Yes. Third place was Chase Robinson with 86 flat. And Big Bass, tell him, Greg.
25 3/4 inches.
25 3/4 inches. And I'm sharing it. So while I get this photo up, Greg,
just
talk
just
about
a little
this
one.
beast. Just a little
Well,
one.
actually, it started the week before. So I was
Okay.
pre-fishing Lake Alfred the week before. I started out in the morning. There were a couple other guys pre-fishing there. I wanted to hit some areas of the lake that I hadn't fished before. So I did that. And then coming back, like 2:30, it's in the afternoon. I'm getting ready and I hook up on one off a weed line and it starts to pull. And it starts to pull hard. And at first I thought maybe I might have an alligator, but there weren't any bubbles coming up off the bottom or anything. And I realized, and I could feel the tail pumping. I realized it was a big fish. So on that day, which would have been the 15th, I caught a 25 and a quarter inch, 9.5 pound bass.
Holy crap.
So that was the week before. That was the week before.
Yeah.
So coming up on tournament day, I'm figuring, it's probably an afternoon bite, but I'm going to start there because I'm not going to give it, I want to start there just to see what's going on. I get up in that area. I'm catching some little fish. I got 4 small ones right away. I mean, dinks, like 13, 14 inches. And I get in there and I hook one in about the same exact area. It starts to take off underneath my boat. It's pulling my kayak sideways and it gets off because it gets hung up in some hydrilla. And I knew it was a big fish. So I left, went down, did some more fishing, caught some more dinks, trying to call. And I came back to that spot and threw a different bait and I hooked up on this fish. In Florida, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm not used to these really big, 20-inch fish is a good fish in Pennsylvania. But you come down here, and that's what's nice about Florida. You never know what cast is going to get you a monster. Mm-hmm. But I throw out there, I hook it. I know it's big because I can feel it, and it's staying down. It's not coming up. It's staying down. At the last second, it comes up, and I realize, it's as big as the one I caught the week before. I was able to get it in the net. And right then I call over because my buddy, what's cool about Slay Nation, and to all you people who aren't fishing it, is that I haven't been able to fish one of the tournaments until this this one. And when I get there, it's like I'd never, like I've been to all of them. People are, shaking my hand, ask me how I'm doing. That's why I love Slay Nation tournaments. I mean, it's the camaraderie with all the guys. So as soon as I got this one in the net, I knew it was big. And I called over to my buddy Leonard Grant, who's over there. I mean, he's about 100 yards away. And I'm calling him over. I said, Leonard, come over here. He says, what? I said, I need to take a picture. And some other guy, I hear some other guy in the background, because they all knew the big fish that I caught the week before. They're like, oh, you're just showing off. I said, well, I'm not showing off. I just want a good picture. So let's come over, took some good pictures of me. I used his scale, and his scale said 8.57 pounds.
Oh God!
It was 25 and 3/4 inches long. The previous week was 25 and a quarter, but weighed a pound more, at least on my scales. But when you look at the fish side by side, the one that I caught had a lot bigger belly. Or the week before, this one was I could tell this one that I caught during the tournament was spawned out.
Yeah. So that should be a double digit easily.
Oh yeah. 3 weeks before, it would definitely, you're looking probably 11 to 12, I'm thinking. But man, it was, and up to this point, up to the week prior, my personal best in Florida was like 23 and a half. So to catch 120 in the 25s, and in the same location. I mean, it was the same weed line or the same clump of Kissimmee grass that's coming up in the middle of the lake. It was crazy. And I caught them on, well, you want to see what I caught them on?
Yeah, show us.
I'm pretty curious.
Banjo minnow?
It's a famous Florida lure. Ready for this?
Better be a Senko. Let's go.
Oh man.
It's a Ned rig. A big TRD Ned rig.
Yeah.
Nobody
Look at
throws
that.
it in Florida. I love it.
That's how we know you're from the Northeast, right
Yes,
there.
sir.
That's exactly right.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
Now what you do is you throw it in there, and when you're popping it out of the weeds, they clobber it. I mean, they're not used to it. It's something they don't see. Now, of course, now everybody knows it. So everybody in Florida could be throwing a big TRD Ned rig.
Next event,
but
every
We
single
can edit
pull.
that out. I can blur that out.
Next
Yeah,
event.
so
Can you send me that pin again and where you caught it?
No, not that. I mean, it's Lake Alfred. Just keep going around. But no, it was cool. And I've caught a lot of fish over 20 inches on the Ned rig down here. I mean, it's just not a lot of people throw it. I'm used to throwing it up north. I like to finesse fish. I like to fish slow and methodical. I hit, every piece of grass I could see coming up through there, and it worked. And I caught it on Denali spinning rod with a Shimano spinning reel.
Okay. So are those fish hitting that Ned rig on the bottom, or is it like when it's punching through that grass? Or
no, it'll get through to hit the bottom, and I'll let it sit. I'll let it sit for like 5 or 10 seconds before I pop it the next time, and they're on it when I pop it the next time.
Okay.
And you can tell. I mean, usually they're either getting it on initial fall, or is it sitting there and then they're hitting it. And very rarely do I get them on the second or third pop. Now I shouldn't say that. Not very rarely. I will get them on the second or third pop, but usually it's on the initial fall. Anybody who fishes Ned rig knows that. But yeah, it's crazy.
Now
do you use any scent on there?
I'll use smelly jelly. I mean, I can't remember. I don't know. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm used to fishing smallies on the Susquehanna River, and that's what we all use in the Susquehanna River is smelly jelly. You just don't want to get on your fingers because that stuff does smell.
Yeah.
Greg, we're like 45 minutes from the Susky. We're all right near Harrisburg.
I'm terrible at that river, but
I love that river.
How can you be terrible on the Susquehanna? There's a smallmouth underneath every rock.
I don't have a good answer for that.
I'll get you out in the Scuzzy.
Well, here it is, Ned rig or a whopper plopper. In the summer, throw a whopper plopper. Bring it through the current. You'll get killed.
There you go. This
watch
actually
Jake Harshman.
Jake Harshman knows it really well. This is actually like an unexpected good match because Greg, obviously I didn't know you were from the Northeast, and all of these other guys on here are all from Pennsylvania except for me.
Eastern Pennsylvania.
Okay, cool.
Lehigh Valley, Poconos, Reading. All right
and
there.
I lived in Florida for 15 years and ran a bass trail down there, so I know what you're going through and how some of the northern techniques are like foreign language down there.
Part of me, sounds like
don't get me wrong. I love to throw a speed worm, and things like that. I mean, I'll do that. A jackhammer, popping a jackhammer through the weeds and things like that.
That's fun.
But they're not used to seeing that Ned rig, and when you can drop it down there, if you can find a distinct weed line and throw it up in there and then pop it out through, they're going to kill it. And that's
Greg, are you using that Ned rig because of Florida and the size of the fish and the vegetation? Is that on braid, or you got a heavy fluoro, or what? What would you recommend?
I do use on this one I was using 15-pound braid to 12-pound fluoro. I don't go less than 12-pound fluoro. And what surprised me is the guys that are down here, they're like, why do you throw fluoro? We all throw braid. So you can just go with 30-pound braid and still be good. But I like the feel of the fluoro as a leader. And I even do it on some of my casting rods, on my bait casting rods. If I'm throwing like a weighted Senko or something like that, I'll throw a 20-pound fluoro on there just because I like the feel. And I think it falls better than the braid. The braid kind of, it does have some, it floats a little bit. And I like the feel of the fluoro better. I'm just used to that. Obviously if you're fishing a lot of weeds, it's better to go straight braid. But if I'm punching, I'm not going to throw a fluoro leader. But if I'm just throwing like a speed worm that I'm going to be bringing through, or a weighted Senko and I'm popping it through the grass, I'm throwing a fluoro leader. Yeah. Not light though. I've learned that not light.
Not light. Hell no.
Use it. No.
I agree. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that lunker with us, man. And I think
no problem. Let's see the picture, man.
Oh, you guys didn't see that?
No, your website was up.
Oh,
no, it didn't come up.
Oh, hold on.
It was showing Wix or whatever.
Oh, that's weird. Because I thought I had it up there. I thought I was sharing. Can you see that right now?
Mine's loading.
Can you see it?
No,
loading.
It's still
it's loading.
No, just showing
showing Wix.
Okay, so it's probably just needs a minute. Hold on. It'll probably
right now it's showing the college.
If not, I'll put it on my background and I'll get out of the way. And you can. I hate to brag, but it is my biggest fish. So.
It's the biggest Slay Nation fish.
I would take 2 years.
You can't see this
like that.
No.
Anybody watching?
No, it's not even on watching either.
Yeah, it's showing the Wix website for Slay Nation, the college.
Right, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second here. So, listen, folks, we're gonna fix this because I got to show this beast.
Oh, Greg, I was down in Florida for spring break, and I was just hammering on the Ned rig, hammering every single fish down in Florida. Yeah. It's nuts. I got a 19-incher that when I was down there for spring break off of the Ned rig.
Yeah, and that's what's the fun thing about Florida is you never know what cast is going to be the fish of a lifetime down here.
No, yeah, that's great fishing.
Your Ned you're throwing, is that a 4-inch Senko as your Ned, or is that like a
No, that's the big TRD. It's 3 1/4. What's it, like 3.75 or 4-inch? There you go.
There it is.
You see that, puppy?
I look at it.
You have a shot of it on
there. It is.
There.
I don't.
I'm curious.
That's all
I do.
I just got the picture of that handsome model right there. Look at that. Hey, Greg, don't tell your wife's going to look at this and be like, Greg, heat your meat. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'll try to put it on my background. I'll see if I can't put it on my background and you'll be able to see it.
That's wild.
I mean, look how long that is. You could tell how
Dude,
long
the mouth on that, the head on it is definitely like a 12-pounder.
Did it have bug eyes?
Huge.
This is the first time I'm noticing your Philadelphia Phillies hat.
What?
Oh, yeah. Go Phils.
Go Phils.
I'm just realizing that right now.
Oh, I saw it earlier.
Yeah, you're going to gain a lot of fans now, Greg. You're getting a lot of Northeast fans now.
Well, I got a better winning record than they do right now, but they've still got a chance. They got a whole season to go yet.
Yeah, that's true. It's still early, right? All right, awesome. Well, Greg, congratulations on your win. And right now, the biggest fish of any Slay Nation event, man. I'm going to have to get like a special coin or something made to like a 20, gold. I don't with like the 25 plus inch club or something now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I think we'll have to do something.
That awesome. Was my goal was actually the 24-inch club. I wanted to make the 2-foot club, and I'll take 25 3/4 anything.
Oh, dude, 25 3/4 and a tournament especially too. Like that's oh my God. I think I would have done a cannonball off my kayak. Awesome. All right. Well, let's take it to the College Kayak Series. Jake Stem, why don't you set the stage and then we'll kind of go from there. Set the stage where it was, the layout of the day.
Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Jake Stem here, director of the Slay Nation College Kayak Series. We had our very first event 2 weeks ago, middle of April. I can't remember the exact date, 15th, 16th, that April weekend.
15th.
And 15th was the first Slay Nation College Kayak Series on Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. So right here we have Kyle Livinghouse, Dylan Miller, and Michael Boyer from the Kutztown University team. Quick little story. I started that when I was in school about 5 years ago. Kyle is now the new president. And 5 years later, I'm back helping out that club, trying to help them keep fishing tournaments, get that tournament fishing drug. You guys know how it is, man. Once you start tournaments, it's over. So traveled down with those guys. They got the practice for we got down there. We left at like 2-3 a.m. Thursday, got down there, got a day and a half of practice, and then they fished the event Saturday. So if you guys maybe want to go through, each of you guys talk about your practice first, and then we can go through the tournament and how that went. Kyle, you want to start with your practice days?
Yeah. So Slay Nation, or not Slay Nation, but Smith Mountain Lake, it's a big difference from Pennsylvania with how the fish were. And basically, I'm not used to a body of water that's clear like that. It's kind of similar to some of what we have in Pennsylvania, but I really struggled practice fishing. It was all the fish were either on beds or they were roaming, and the fish that were roaming, they wanted nothing to do with it. You could throw the kitchen sink at them. They were not having it. But it came down to, mostly a dock skipping and bed fishing lake. I know on my first day of practice, I found a couple bedfish, but didn't really do too well. We didn't even fish that same part of the lake the next 2 days. Second day of practice, we had rain coming, we had clouds. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with bed fishing in those conditions. It's non-existent, really brutal. I think I caught one fish on my second day of practice, and maybe like on the first day, like 3 or 4. So it was tough. So coming into the tournament, then I threw up, I want to say 83 and a quarter inches. Had some missed
83 3/4, yeah.
Yeah, I had some missed opportunities. I dumped, I want to say it would probably could have gone 7.5 pounds. It's a really big fish, but I caught all of mine bed fishing. Actually, I have a funny story on that. So our last Slay Nation event, I guess would have been in the fall of 2022. I don't know if you might be able to help me out with this, Frank, but we gave away these jigs, not the custom jigs, but it was one of our random prizes. But this
might
is
be
what
Martin's.
I threw it on all my bedfish. Basically, hit them right on the nose with it. And
Martin's custom. That's Martin's custom.
That's what I think. I think it's a Martin's custom.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I caught my bedfish on. They were all bedfish. So I think I maybe caught one roaming fish, but that was about it. But that lake that's a crazy lake, and I hope to be back there. I think Dylan beat me there. He'll have a
we'll get into the standings towards the end. We'll finish off with the standings, but Kyle did a great job. I kind of roamed around with the guys every day, took some photos, did some fishing myself in practice, caught some bedfish and stuff. But Dylan, I know your connection. Dylan's at his hunting camp right now, so connection's kind of iffy, as you've seen. So Dylan, if you want to just talk about your practice days and then maybe how your tournament day went, and then don't say the place yet because we'll go over the placement at the end.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, so sorry about my connection. I'm up in my cabin, so like I'm at like one bar if I'm lucky.
So you're turkey hunting tomorrow? I mean, let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Back to fishing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So Thursday was rough for me. I've never really fished on a kayak before, so like this was like a whole new learning experience for me. And like the bed fish and stuff. So I never bed fished before because I've never been on a boat, let alone a kayak or anything. So like it was completely different. But so Thursday was really slow for me. And then Friday we changed completely different spots. Friday was more where I was comfortable with. It was more like woods and you had trees and stuff. It wasn't so much docks and wide open. So I did a little better. And I mean, I sort of found where I was comfortable with on the lake, and that's where I went to. I mean, the one fish I caught on Friday, I caught again on Saturday. And the one cove I was in, I mean, there was how many bedfish, but they were like actually getting in the spawn there. But I got lucky finding that spot for Friday. And then, I mean, Saturday I started off the morning with the fish I caught the day before. And then after that one, I went like 3 miles or 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles away from where I started. Then just went from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dylan, nice, I did forget to mention, Dylan, that was his first tournament ever. Right? You never did a boat tournament. I know you've never been at a kayak tournament. He actually purchased an Old Town a couple months prior, got on it maybe twice before we left. So first time on his Old Town pedal drive, went out there and freaking, he caught his first fish tournament day, 18-incher on a bed. If you guys saw the photos Frankie posted, that was that one. I got to watch that, dude. And this is crazy for me. I've never been in a tournament that I wasn't fishing. I was just taking photos. I went out with my camera. I wanted to get photos as many kids as I could. And the excitement that I felt for him watching him catch that bedfish. He found the most aggressive bedfish in the lake that I'd seen the whole weekend. He was literally on top of it when he caught it. Literally, straight on top of it, like 3 foot of water, catches the thing, gets it in. Dude, I was like jacked up for him. I'm like hyped up, taking photos, video. It was so cool. So it was really cool to see him. And I won't say how much inches he had, but Dylan ended the day with only 5 fish. I know he lost a couple good ones, he said, but I got to watch him catch a couple. But he only caught 5 fish, where Kyle submitted 8 or 9 keepers total. I won't say the inches yet, but so it was a little bit different for each of them. Dylan only had 1 bedfish that I know of. The rest was just, fishing docks and stuff. But let's jump over to Michael, go through your practice and your tournament day.
Yeah. Whole Smith Mountain was a whole different experience for me. I've done bass tournament, boat tournaments, but never on a kayak. And I've been on like a little pedal, I know those little row ones, but never on a pedal one. And it was a whole different experience fishing it. And the whole Clear Lake, that was crazy. And the bedfish, I never bedfished. I haven't really bedfished too much. So it was a whole new experience for me, but I loved it. Thursday, just kind of try to find some bedfish. Didn't really have any luck. Saw some swimming, like just roaming that just didn't want anything, like Kyle said. And then Friday, just did some searching in some woods. I had a nice one on, lost it underneath a tree. And then I came around to just cove. I'll see if they had a bed. I went out mid, try to see. I was just fishing anything I could try to see where they are, but I didn't have any luck. And then Saturday came around. My morning was rough. But I pulled myself together around lunchtime, and I just found the technique. What I was doing was wacky worming. I'd sneak in between the docks, get literally all the way in the back where the stairs were, to almost like where they're coming from the bank to the dock, and I'd fish it right underneath where the darkness was, and just hooked up on a few. Lost 2 good ones, unfortunate, but it happens. But I had a great time. It was fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So there we have it, and then I guess we'll cover the lengths, and then we can cover big fish, which Jake Karen, who fished our event, had big fish of the tournament. I know Frankie has a video to play. Fortunately, he's working tonight, so he couldn't come on the live. Frankie, if you want to play that when you can, he had the big fish of the tournament, a 20.5-incher. If you want to play that video.
Yeah, let's play that video real quick.
You take the video?
Let's see here. Let me
Jake did.
Let me screen share.
Oh, that's cool.
Jake
he just sent the video over. All right, let me do this right the first time.
He's on Slay Station in spirit.
He's on Slay Station.
He lives
Where is he? There he is. Let's hopefully this works.
Is this a Slay Station first?
It's
showing your
loading.
Email.
What? Showing a here it is.
Gmail.
Ready? Oh, it looks blurry. It looks blurry, and I don't know if it's gonna work. Hey, here, can you see him?
No.
We only see your email.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. I clicked on this is you can't all right, you see this right here, right?
Yeah, I see that.
I'm clicking on the link. And that's it. It's still in my email.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still in my email or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the email.
You don't see this. You don't. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why wouldn't it continue to share this? All right. Whatever. Sorry, guys. We'll have to. I don't know why it wouldn't.
Test that behind the scenes next time.
Yeah, whatever. So thanks, Jake. We'll replay this video on our social media feeds.
I'd show my phone, but I don't have an internet connection, so I'm not even on my laptop.
I don't know why that's not working, but it is what it is.
But yeah, he caught a 20.5 in the morning. Jake ended up with 2 fish for the day, but he had the 20.5. I guess he caught it the day before, Friday in practice, and caught it. It was on a bed underneath a dock. He didn't realize it when he first lost it the day prior, but then he went there the next morning. He caught it in like the first hour. So when I was looking at the results, I was like, oh, snap. Oh, there it is. You got it up.
Guys, Jake. I just want to talk about the fish that I caught during my tournament and talk about what happened for it. So I actually found that fish on a bed on the first day of practice. I didn't realize it was on a bed. It was under a dock. So I skipped a wacky rig under it, hooked into it, lost it the day of practice, didn't touch it anymore, hoping that it would be there tomorrow for the tournament. So right after 6:15, we could start pedaling to our spots. I went straight to that bed, cast it under, and I actually caught the same fish that I lost the day of practice. So it was a pretty cool experience to catch that fish. It's also a really cool experience to do that tournament for the College Series. It was my first tournament ever, so I was really pumped for it. So hope you guys have good luck on your tournament.
Sweet. Nice.
He's a solid dude. He was fun to fish against.
Really cool.
So, Jake caught it on a bed, and he took home big fish. And then, Frankie, do you have the rest of the results? I'm on my phone.
I do. So here we go. In third place, Michael Boyer with 54 1/4 inches.
Nice.
In second place, Kyle Livinghouse with 83 3/4 inches.
I have my trophy right here.
That's not.
Dude. Oh,
Hang on, I got it.
That looks like a Slay Nation trophy. There you go.
Shout out to Frank for making those trophies.
Dude. Yeah, these are awesome. I really appreciate
it.
Little handle on the back so you can hold them and actually pose in your picture.
You like that?
Yeah.
Really cool. Dang, third place.
Oh, and third, there it is. And then in first place, Mr. Dylan Miller with 84 1/2. Let's go.
Woo!
He barely got me.
He's still upset about it.
That's it. So one thing I want to point out, well, first of all, congratulations and to all you guys for coming out. And I know Jake, don't correct me if I'm wrong. He's the only angler that he was from Maryland, correct? He came up from Maryland.
Yeah, he goes to school in Maryland.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that was really cool to see someone outside of Kutztown or Kutztown or whatever the hell, Ketchup Town.
You can call it Ketchup Town. That's good.
It was
Berks County.
So it was nice to see that. But one thing, and Jake, awesome job. Obviously we knew you were going to knock it out of the park. So great stuff. We hope this continues to grow, which it will, right? There's always growing pains. It's a brand new series and it's different than what we traditionally do. This is our first regional series, really, that's traveling up and down the Northeast. So we expect it to continue to grow. Right. And obviously, anybody watching, just spread the word. Any college.
I do want to give a quick shout out too to Smith Mountain Lake Tackle there on Smith Mountain Lake, Virginia. Let us host the awards there. Awesome, dude. That tackle shop's loaded.
He's got
all the
mega
new stuff. We went there every day because he had the juice, man. He had high-end mega bass, which Kyle saw immediately. And he's got all he had everything that you could think of. So awesome tackle shop. Huge shout out to him. Awesome dude. So it was a great event. I mean, it was just fun to fish. Go out there. I mean, these kids are hardcore fishermen. We literally got done practicing 8 hours, 10 hours a day, dude. First night we're there at the Airbnb. It's on a channel of the lake, and all of a sudden, stripers start busting. We run out to the cars. We get the rods. We fish till dark, dude. We were catching stripers. The next day, we started putting bluegill on bobbers to catch the stripers. And I have to admit, I have to say it, I did catch a personal best largemouth on the bobber and bluegill. Thought it was a striper. It jumped out of the water like Bass Pro Shops magazine video, dude. It was a 23 3/4, 7.71 largemouth. Ate the bluegill. It was nice. Wild. It was wild.
Nice.
Awesome
add to that.
You don't need a kayak or a boat to catch your personal best.
Nope. Just live bait, I guess. I don't know. I caught a 10-pound striper too. So it was wild.
For the guys who fished the kayak series and the collegiate event here, is there anything that you guys came away with that you would give to the people who are coming into the events? A tip?
I know this isn't my first tournament I ever fished with kayak stuff, but I think I personally, I get in this mindset, if I'm not, because everything can change in 5 minutes for your whole day. So, going into that tournament aspect, even though it wasn't 150 anglers out there that we're going against, but, you still get in this mindset, the first hour, if you don't catch anything, you can it can start to get frustrating, especially if you're in, prime time. I wasn't seeing bedfish, and in a way I did let that get to me. So for anyone who is jumping into that, you got to go into it with, just regular expectations and, level-headed, and just stick to what you know. And it might go a little better for you than getting frustrated that you haven't caught anything.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, my whole morning I didn't catch one fish. I didn't catch one until like it was like 2-3 hours the tournament was ending, and then I caught all four. I caught 4 fish. It was frustrating at first, and I was like, oh wait, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like I'm doing what I always done, and I just had to. You got to buckle down, get yourself together, and that's what I did. Get myself together and caught fish.
Yeah. Well, Greg, I have a question for you, coming from an experienced angler. Right. And we have some anglers on here. It was, I heard a lot of my first kayak tournament, my first tournament ever, whatever. What's some advice you would give a young angler? Like, let's just say 1, 2, or 3, tidbits of advice that you think they can carry with them that might help them set them up for success best possible.
The best thing is just to put time on the water. There's nothing helps like time on the water, getting to know what a bite feels like. Find what your strengths are and fish your strengths. Now, whether that's finesse fishing a Ned rig on the bottom, or you like to power fish, you like to, use a crankbait, whatever, and then learn how fish transition from one phase to another, whether it's pre-spawn, post-spawn, spawn, or in the summer. Where do they go in the summer? Learn where the fish go so you know where to fish for them. Those are big things. But time on the water, nothing helps like time on the water. It doesn't matter if you're in, at some pond fishing from the bank, or you're in a kayak fishing wherever. I mean, if you guys are going to Kutztown, you got Blue Marsh that's not too far away. Go to Blue Marsh and fish there as much as you can.
I'm on the boat all the time on that lake.
Yeah, put time on it at Blue Marsh and learn where the fish are. But learn how to fish different terrains too. I mean, I grew up and I fished a lot in Pennsylvania, where we fished a lot of rock piles. You fish rock piles or you fish wood. There's not a whole lot. I mean, there are lakes with grass, but for the most part, you're fishing rock piles, you're fishing big rocks or whatever. Down here, there's not that. I mean, you're not going to find a rock anywhere in Florida. You're just fishing weeds and on other kind of structures, whether it's ditches or whatever, you're going to fish that. So just take time to fish the different terrains or the different structures, because it comes down. Fish like to stay around structure. They're not going to be I don't want to say that. Most of the time, they're not going to be in the middle of a lake where there's flat bottom. Now, does it happen? Yes. Can somebody say, well, I just trolled through there and I caught a great big one? Yeah, that might happen. But what's the saying? 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water, meaning they're going to be around specific locations. Find out what that is at your lake, and then learn how to use that in another lake. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Dylan, why don't you tell them, about your experience and maybe about the good old Texas rig? What happened there?
Yeah. So I just want to give something that just from this tournament alone, don't be afraid to experiment. Like Jake just said, that was the first time I ever thrown a Texas rig. Like I've never thrown a Texas rig before, and it worked for me. I mean, travel too. Like, don't just stay in one little spot. Go travel. Go as far as you can away. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But, I mean,
there you go.
Dylan was rigging up the night before, and he was confident with a Nico rig. He was catching a lot of fish on the Nico rig. That's what he was confident, and he's like, he wanted to talk heads with everyone and see like what else should I tie on. I said Texas rig, why not? Texas rig's good. It's a good bait to throw. You can always catch fish on a Texas rig. Dude goes out and catches every fish in the tournament on the Texas rig and wins it. So it was kind of funny. Kyle's kind of mad I mentioned the Texas rig, but it was a great experience. I mean, I went and took photos of these guys, and literally I'm like, I called Dylan. I'm like, dude, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm over here. Dude's like 2 miles away, hasn't fished a tournament before, no fish finder. I had him download Navionics in practice. I said, hey, dude, download Navionics on your phone. You can learn, hey, I like this side of these docks are looking real good. Well, he pulls up Navionics. Okay, it's a steep break. It's a steep break docks. Okay, let me see where other steep break docks are. Then he just started going, and literally tournament day, he went all over. He caught 3 18-inchers, a 15 and a 14, and a great high average length on his fish, and he wasn't afraid to go out there. So you got kids like Kyle, who's super experienced, with quite a few kayak tournaments under his belt, and then Dylan and Michael for their first ones ever. And I just encourage kids to get out here, fish the tournaments. It's a fun time with your buddies. You get to go travel these amazing fisheries. Speaking of next stop, May 27th, Cayuga Lake. Guys, if you're in the Northeast,
that's a good lake.
Cayuga. What's that?
That's a good lake. Largemouth,
yes,
smallmouth. Largemouth on the north end, smallmouth further south. I mean, it gets deep, but it's a fun lake. Just don't be on a north-south wind.
Exactly.
If you're in an east-west wind, you're all right. North-south wind, be careful.
We'll be hitting the north end most likely pretty good for our event, at least practice. So.
And and there's a lot of pickerel in there. I mean, it's a fun lake.
Yeah,
never heard of
2 weeks after our Civil War.
Yeah,
so Civil War there, middle of May, and then 2 weeks later, the college event's there. So
next Friday night, our Slay Station is dedicated to our Pennsylvania kayak crew and our New York kayak crew. They do a Civil War. This will be their second annual one on Cayuga on the 13th of May.
Crazy event.
So we'll be talking about that a lot next Friday. Absolutely.
Well, shout out to Chris Calori. He's a good guy. I mean, he can fish.
Yep. I know who that is.
Some of those guys up there.
Yeah, Justin and his dad, their weapons on that lake. Some of those New York guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to talk about it and see how it goes, see how it ends up.
Dude, 100 inches of wind. I'm calling it right now.
All right, well,
it's not Florida, but he might get that in New York.
Yeah,
I mean, last year there was like 3 95-inch bags, so it's May in Cayuga. Anything can happen.
Yeah, there was a guy that when I started kayak fishing, he was a tournament director for the club I was at, and he would go up there to New York, and he would just catch the wind and then just drift across the lake, and knew how to drift fish those the different grass flats in there and how to catch them out of there. Mike Reinhold was his name. He's an old time.
Oh, I know Mike.
Kayak
he fished last year with us.
He's a good guy, man, and he was a tournament director of the club I fished up there.
Okay,
and he knew how to fish that up there, and he does well up there.
Nice.
Yeah, Mike's a great dude.
Yeah.
You said that Michael and Dylan was this was their first kayak event, and Michael, you said you fished Blue Marsh in the boat.
Yeah.
What do you find the hardest thing from boating to kayaking?
I mean, I would say definitely like the balance, everything, trying to get balance and stuff, obviously. And then accessibility almost a little bit. And just like, on the boat, I can just throw rods. I can throw like 8-10 rods just next to me, and I could just keep picking up at different stuff. But when you're in a kayak, you got a little bit more of a, okay, I got to turn around, get this. And then I got to focus, where everything is, because I don't want to swing back and hit anything. It's a little different, but, and maneuver, a lot of different maneuver. Like I'm, on a boat, I just, I push a little button and I can swing around, you know what I mean? Where this, I got to pedal my feet and I got to, back up, turn in, where I'm just in a boat, just do a little 360 on the motor and I'm good. So it's a little different, with that kind of stuff.
That's one thing I didn't really mention is like, I was taking photos of all these guys, and the benefit, like, Smith Mountain Lake doesn't have any creek arms. There's no creeks to get way up in where boats can't. But what they could do is get behind docks. Like Dylan, Michael, Kyle, all of them, I saw him do it. Like Kyle would get, the one he lost was literally no boat could cast to that. No way.
There was a 150 boater BFL the same day we fished. And then there was 2 local club tournaments going on as well. So there were boats in just about every cove you went into. There was 2 or 3 bass boats coming in and out of there. And one thing I was able to do is I would go in behind a bass boat, and I was able to catch most of my fish after those bass boats have already gone down that stretch. And most of that is because I could get up shallow and up behind those docks where those bass like to sit. That bass boats couldn't pluck them. So
yeah,
I went to photograph Dylan, and a bass boat came out of this tiny cove with like 3 docks. He goes in right behind him, casts underneath, and catches one. And the guy just got up and took off on the motor. He was not happy. It was funny though. Like there's a lot of advantages to kayaks, even on lakes where you think, oh, I can't get where boats can't get to. You can still get to some pretty good locations where you don't have to worry about bass boaters catching those fish.
yeah.
Toby Hanna, man.
Yeah.
There's that portion of Toby Hanna that when we had our small boat thing, the guy in the bass boat was like, it's not fair. I can't get 200 yards closer than you. Like, you can get 200 yards closer because my trolling motor is going to hit, and I got to sit there and hold myself up and risk getting stuck. And I was like, yeah, I'm not my fault. You got a 21-foot javelin.
Yeah, I got flat bottom, so I can get up shallow with the boat.
Oh, I go right up in my little boat too. But
yeah,
I just say that too because I'm a small boat fisherman and I'm converting over to doing kayak stuff. And I think we all know that my biggest problem is handling the fish. Once I get one, it doesn't stay on the kayak with me. So.
Yeah, that was a whole different thing. Trying to like, because I'm used to the boat, just boat flip it, but like getting the kayak, I'm like trying to hold this thing. I'm like, please don't lose this, and I'm like trying to get up on the scale, and it was a whole like, I'm like, please don't slide off. Like I was like holding that fish as my life, trying to hold this fish down.
I practiced earlier this season, and everyone's like, oh, use your net, put a lipper on it, keep it in the net. Man, the thing tossed my lip holder. It's all the way out, floating away. My net's in the water. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm going back to the boat.
That's part of the practice too. When you go out and you spend time in the water, measure every fish and take a photo of them. 100%. Get that down. So, I mean, I have a system down. When I get it, I'm either holding on to the fish or I'm putting it on a keeper out in the water until I get my catch board ready, and then I'm putting it up there, making sure my ID's ready, and then taking that picture. But that's part of the whole practice. I mean, that's part of the fishing is practicing, getting the picture so you know you got it right, so you're not getting anything DQ'd. I mean, there's nothing worse than getting a photo DQ'd, especially if it's huge.
I had them do that during the practice days. I said, put fish on, teach you. I mean, Dylan never put a fish on, and he had the mouth open. I was like, all right, like he didn't know any better. So I was like, crap, I forgot to tell him, and like go through it. He got practice. Michael got practice. Kyle already knew how, and luckily, I don't think there was like any issues really in any of the fish. There was maybe a 1/4 inch deduction on one of them, and then there was some that they didn't give themselves enough. Like they thought it didn't go, and it went a 1/4 inch extra, which of course I gave it to them. That's just how I do my judging. But it's awesome to practice stuff like that because there's, I always put my net in, and that way if it flops out, because you see too many guys sit up and they're on the sit on tops and they're just like holding them on your knees, and then poor Gosselin. I'm not trying to shout out Michael Gosselin, but when he loses the fish, you hear it across the lake, and I feel so bad because the way his kayak is, he doesn't know where to get his board down in. So
I'll say this about Florida fish. They love getting their picture taken. You don't have to have a hand on.
Oh, that's nice.
But if you get a smallmouth from Susquehanna or anywhere, you got to have a lock on that thing to keep it on the board, or else it's going to flop off.
Yeah.
Florida fish are completely different. Once you get them on the board, they just kind of just lay there. But that's the only good thing about Florida fish when you're trying to take a picture. But that you'll find that the more you practice it, you get a system, and it's automatic then, and then you don't miss anything. And that's one of the, that's what anything I would say is every time you go out to fish, practice taking that picture. That way it's automatic when you're in the tournament.
Yeah,
Greg,
absolutely.
It looked like Josiah said he actually put his name on the fish, and then you went and caught it. So,
nah, he wishes.
The truth comes out.
Josiah, who's Dale? That's what I need to know. Who the hell is Dale? Now I'm like curious now. I got to go back and look. But whatchamacallit? So we're talking college. No, so here's something, right? When Jake and Ray and I were talking about, hey, should we offer a college kayak series? There's obviously a niche for it, right? There's a niche in the tournament scene for it, right? For college kayak stuff, right? Mm-hmm. The big boat, they got their stuff already. Well, here's my question, and maybe you have an answer, maybe you don't, because this is what I have talked to Jake and Ray about, and Greg, you can chime in too, is like the college kayak anglers or even the college anglers, like what is the hub? Like where's the, like what is there a forum? Like I was trying to think like what, like for us, there's plenty of kayak forums and communities and groups that I think a lot of like adults go to, right? I guess you could say, right? Outside of college, let's just say. But what's like, where do the college kayak anglers like go for like your information? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to think of like, yo, is there a college kayak angler club? You know, like on Facebook group, like is there an Instagram account? Like I'm just trying to think like, yo, there needs to be like a hub that's specific for like college angling, like college kayak angling. And I don't know, either we're going to try to start one or like what do you guys find out there?
For me personally, I think it all comes down to the local level, and I don't know that there's anything specifically for college, but you know, if you look locally, there's a lot of local clubs, especially in Pennsylvania. I mean, you got Slay Nation, you got kayak anglers, and they have 3 or 4 or 5 different subgroups of them. And there's also Bass Nation has a PA one. But I think I don't know that there's anything specifically for college. I'd like to see one for college and for high school. I mean, I helped as a tournament director for a club in Florida, and I had a kid who's 13 or 14 years old in middle school wanted to know if he could fish one of my tournaments, and unfortunately he can't because he's under 16. He can't fish until he's 16 and it has parental permission. So it would be nice. I'd love to get. You know, I'm not selfish. I want everybody to enjoy this great sport. So if, you know, even if they're, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, I want to help them get into it. Unfortunately, Frankie, as you know, with insurance, they're not going to let us throw anybody in there unless they're 16 or over. And so that makes it tough. But once it, you know, but how many of us waited till a certain age before we could go hunting or anything like that? You know, so you know, so there is a certain age limit, but it starts at the grassroots level, and that's the local level, in my opinion. What do you think?
And I talked to Frankie, and I honestly think it's just so new. Like Hobie College Kayak, they run a good trail. I've talked to their director. They just started last year. They had a soft trail. They had about 10 to 15 anglers at every event. So not a huge following when they're big events, you know, that aren't college based, get 200 to 250. But I think it's so new. But once these college, I get a lot of college, like I fish college or I fished in college for FLW. I get everyone wants to go to the national championship, the BASS. They want to get to the Bassmaster Classic. I 100%, you know, no holds barred, good for them if they can afford it. But the thing is, like, you know, luckily Kyle and these guys are on the Kutztown team. They are a club. They do get some funding, but not nearly like you would think. Even when I was there, it wasn't a kid had to have a bass boat that was there. So then you're trying to find a kid with a good bass boat that was good enough to fish an 18, 19, 20 footer. And it's just
not paying for a bass boat either. And
exactly. And the return on investment. I mean, when I fished FLW College, there was 80 boats fishing. First place was $2,000. With us, Slay Nation College Series, with 20 guys, I think our first place is $2,000. So, and out of a plastic boat, like you get, you know, a truck with a couple buddies and a trailer, and you can fit 4 or 5 kayaks in it, and you can all travel down, stay at one place, and fish these college events, and fish for quite a bit of money for college fishing. I think it's huge. I just think it's so new. You know, it's just over time. I mean, I know Kyle personally has been reaching out to a couple universities in New York, and they're reaching back out, and they seem a little interested. So I sent out emails to 50 colleges in the Northeast. Like, I think the word just needs to spread. And, you know, we don't conflict with Hobie. I made sure we didn't conflict schedules because, you know, Ewing Minor, his college, they fish. They have a team. They have like 3 or 4 outbacks. So they fish Hobie College. They're supposed to hopefully fish some of our events as well. So
there's a couple schools with wrap kayaks now. So like if you go back now, I'm only 20, but if you were to go back 4 or 5 years, you didn't see that. So it's really, you know, it really is new. So
I think it's brand new, but I think it's going to be, you know, 2-3 years down the line. Who knows? We could have 100 kids at this Slay Nation College event and see these kids fishing for really big money out of these kayaks. And it's just, like I said, the return on investment is just so much better when you get into a kayak. It don't stand for bust out another 1,000. And don't get me wrong, if they want to chase the bass, I get it. But also in the Northeast, there's no big boat events anymore. FLW dropped their Northeast division. They're having one tournament in Champlain. no offense to them, I get it if it costs too much to come up here, but all these Northeast colleges, I know like Ohio State was they did create a tournament circuit up here just for the Northeast colleges, because if not, they have to drive 15 hours each way for an event. Like it's ridiculous. And the poor Northeast schools, like, it's not like down south where they get full rides. Bass fishing up here, when I started the club, 6-7 years ago at Kutztown, they looked at me like I had 3 heads when I said, yeah, kids get full rides to go fish. So I think finally it's starting to come up in the Northeast. I think there's only 12 schools in PA that have a team, if they still have teams. So I think once the kayak word gets out and kids start realizing how much cheaper and easier it is to travel and fish and be able to fish for like the same amount of money, I think it could really start getting big.
Yeah, especially if it's a club and not an intramural or not a intercollegiate sport. I mean, if you're starting out as a club, just go to your SGA and ask them for a budget. And just say, hey, we want to start a club, a kayak fishing club. So go to your student government association, and anybody can start a club for any reason. I mean, you just have to go and produce it, but make sure you have 3 or 4 of your buddies that want to fish with you. I mean, you can't be one person and have your own club, but if you can get a few guys and do it, I mean, back in the day, it was just Penn State. Plan. Right. And back in the day, Penn State was the only person. It was the only, main campus was the only college that had, a boat club. You know what I mean? But now they're all over the place. I mean,
And I should have mentioned that it is actually open to any college event or a college student. And that was another thing when I did this, is I want to make sure, like Jake, the guy that got big bass, his college doesn't have a team. You don't have to have a team. And that's why I made it like this, is if you're a college student and you're 17 to 28 and you're in college and you have a kayak, you can come fish. It's great if your school has a team and you can get a couple buddies, but if you're not, that's what Jake heard from me and Frankie on a podcast. He literally emailed me. He's like, yo, I want to fish this first event ever, comes down, fishes it. Like that's just fantastic. And that's what we want to spread the word. Like, you don't have to be going to Penn State or Kutztown. You could go to community college. You're going there for 2 years, but you have a kayak, you can come fish. And that's what I want to give that opportunity to everyone. But it is great if they have a team, of course. And it's pretty, fairly easy to create one.
Well, that's what that's what I was referring to, is when I refer to a hub, like what's the hub? I'm not talking about an organization. I'm talking about what is an informational base. Like, for example, College Angler Central, right? You go there, you could see, oh, wow, there's this College Kayak Series here. There's a College Kayak Series there. All right, you're interested in starting a college club in your university or your area. Here's some advice on how to do that. Like, I'm thinking of, like, what is a place, like, think about, right, big boats, you go to bassmaster.com, right? And you can find out about all Bass Nation stuff, all the elites, everything else, and down, right? What is the hub for college anglers? It's like, what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think there is one.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so either.
So that I always ask this question because I'm going to start that. And
let's do it.
We're going to do something. It's going to be a place where college anglers can go, and like, there's an Instagram account to follow, and it's clips and posts of some college events from across the country, right? College anglers. It's obviously our stuff, whatever, anything. It's just a hub of these college anglers to come to find out what's going on for them, right? And now they could start dipping their toes in it and check it out, what's closest to them, etc.
There has to be something, though, because you think about these schools that have the big teams. Like, I went to the University of Central Florida. I had no idea they had a bass club because it's such a large school until my fishing club. Some dudes walked in, they're wearing a jersey, and I'm like, yo, does UCF have a club? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, dang, man, I didn't know that. So there has to be something. How do we tap into that? Because these guys that are fishing the big boats might not have that boat. They would definitely have kayaks down there. And that's a market.
Maybe we just start, collegebassfishing.com, a boat section and a kayak section. They click that tab, sends in the BASS, FLW, the Northeast Trail that Ohio State and them are creating, like all the trails. And then that way they can choose, okay, I'm in college, I want to fish a boat event or a kayak event. Boom, there's all your trails. You can see all the schedules. And then that way you can choose from there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind a lot lately.
I don't think there really is a hub. I mean, Kyle more or less finds kids on social and reaches out and sees universities having teams. Like, unfortunately, there is no real hub. So it's tough, spreading the word.
Yeah.
And then one of the problems I see is
there
a lot of
like one of the things though.
Wait, what?
Right, go ahead. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so just based off of like looking at Instagram.
One of the first things.
What is going on?
What is
Someone's
going
delayed.
on?
I don't know. There must be a delay somewhere.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're first. Go.
I'm not talking. Yeah, Kyle, go.
One of the issues I've seen with college teams are, except for your very prominent ones like Auburn and Penn State, West Virginia. A lot of these teams will come up for 4 years because they have a really good group that comes in, but then those Instagrams will shut off, and that team will die for a couple of years. But what I've seen is there's no, like, college bass has an Instagram, and that's where all the main college content goes. But I'm assuming you mean you want to create a hub just like that, just for collegiate kayak stuff, though. And I think there is no main center. And I'm on social media quite a bit. Jake, same thing. He knows more than me. There really is no central hub for that. So it would be cool to have something.
Yeah. See, that's what my mind frame was at, was like just something dedicated to college kayak angling. And it could be anything that's relatable to college, events, like, right. We would post this event on there, right? Some pictures, right? Things like that, but also tips, tricks, like, how to get into college kayak angling. What, like Greg was given tips, like little tips on what you should do. You don't need to have the fanciest equipment to get out there. Like just like things like that I was just like, where do these kids go other than YouTube and the big boat stuff? And you know what I mean? Where else do they go other than, KBF, things like that? But like, where do they go for their college? Like what opportunities, because think about it, right? You're a college kid, and maybe there's just take college tournaments out of the equation, right? Kayak tournaments. And you're like, I haven't even fished a tournament yet, and I'm going to go pay X amount of monies to go fish for one of the big three, right? KBF, a Hobie, or Bass Nation. I'm probably not going to, because I'm going to be intimidated, right?
Yeah,
I'd rather get my toes wet with maybe a more regional or local or whatever, or maybe not as high stakes, right? Like our series, what we want to try to do with the College Kayak Series is give it a high stakes feel, but a grassroots, right? Cushion, right? Mm-hmm. So that you feel like, right. What we mean by that is you there's a little bit of travel. So you feel like you're going to this big event, right? You're like, you're rigging up. Wow, we're going to be gone 3 days or 4 days, whatever it might be. Airbnb, all that stuff. You got to pre-fish, right? You're pre-fishing if you can, obviously 1 or 2 days, right? That gives you a big feel, but at the same time, it's not, you didn't pay $250 to enter, right? Some college kids get things reimbursed or covered, right? So it's like that big field with that grassroots cushion there. And so this is why I've always been thinking about it, always trying to do things different, right? Like, what can we do different than what's already out there, right? That's the way Slay Nation has always tried to operate, right? We don't follow anybody's rules. We still allow hog troughs, right? We, because, it's just part of me. I like, don't forget where you came from, right? I don't want to throw that out the window yet. Things like that. And that's a good thing about being your own organization. We can make our own damn rules, and so that's always been in the back of my mind, is like, well, what can we do to like bring this awesome sport, this college kayak stuff to these college students? Like, that's theirs, right? This is a place for them, right? So that's why I just wanted to ask, because Jake and I sit there and I know personally, I got my toes dipped into the kayak community. I pay close attention to it, right? Same thing with the big boat stuff, and I'm just like, well, what is there for college kayak anglers? Well, where do they go? Where do they go for their information? Where do they go to see what college tournaments are out there for kayak anglers? And
Frankie, you forgot to add in when it comes to traveling, to add the trailer bearings being blown out on your way home from an event.
Oh, yeah, you forgot to grease them.
Listen, shout out to Z Pro though. Me and Kyle's 100 amp hour was our kickstand to hold the trailer up. We pulled the kayak off to the Z Pro batteries underneath, and our 6-hour drive turned into 12-hour drive. But yeah, that was a Shout out to Michael's dad, who's a mechanic. We had some help on the phone, and we got everything situated and made it the rest of the way home. But that was definitely a fun travel. But they're all good now. We placed the other side, so we'll be good. But I definitely think we need to create a hub, because I definitely don't think there is one. But it'd be awesome for kids to be able to just, have a place to look if they want to get into the college tournaments, something that's less pressured, more focused on their age range, their skill level, you could say. Not saying that, there are some very skilled college anglers, and there's some kids that are brand new into fishing tournaments. So, and
the reason we kind of need it is because, right, everybody's like the kayak industry. We want it to grow. We want it to get mainstream, like the big boats and these big payouts and these big sponsorships. Right. In order to do that, you got to almost start the foundation now to have a feeder system, right? You got to have these college kayak anglers to have something to go fish, get experienced, and then as the years go on, and who knows if there's ever one gigantic, like, right now the biggest of big is Bassmaster Elites or MLF, right? Those are the two biggest. Like, if you're going to be a professional angler and be a boater, or a professional angler in general, that's where you would want to go. But at some point, if they really want this kayak thing to be like that, and to have, let's just say, one big organization, there's whatever the hell that is going to be called, right? Kayak Elites. And well, now you need a feeder system. And then, so like things that we're trying to do, and Hobie's doing it. I don't know, does KBF have a college kayak series?
It's like an online series, though. It's not in
online
person.
The whole
season, so it's not in person. Okay,
it's just very loose. But
so, and that's a missed opportunity. You would think they'd hop on that.
Well, how cool would it be, Frankie, for a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever, how old they are, go up, win the Hobie TOC or the Bassmaster Kayak Series, the big events, the adult events, and go, I won this, but I started back in the day, out fishing in Slay Nation College Series or any other college series. Like, that's where I think it boils all down to, just to see that, have them grow that, gain that experience, and then see, Kyle, Michael, Dylan go out there and win these giant events, and then be like, I started fishing the college series, gained all my knowledge and experience, and then took it to the big leagues and took home the win.
Yeah. And I'd like to see the manufacturers step up a little bit too. I mean, you get EJ up there, have Eric Jackson send you, if there's a school that's got a club, he sends them 3 or 4 kayaks that they can use, whether it's, the Kusa X, or, they got the NAR, they got a pedal drive. It'd be cool to see the manufacturers step up and promote that. And because, as a college kid, I didn't have 2 dimes to rub together to get myself a kayak, let alone a pedal drive kayak. But to have them step up and do that, and and even I'm from Pennsylvania, so I hate bringing that into it. But how many little schools in Pennsylvania would love to have like Pennsylvania Bass Brawl up in the Presque Isle Bay? You know what I mean? Send everybody up to Erie in May when the smallmouth are coming into Presque Isle and killing them. 20-inch, 21-inch smallmouth bass that are weighing 4 or 5 pounds. Or anywhere. I mean, up in there, there's plenty of places to do that, and that's the way to bring them up through. And then, because that's where when you talked about Nolan and Ewing Minor, I mean, that's where they're coming up through, is from the college level. So bringing them up through, and they're going to be the guys. You got Slay Ray, Kyle, and Michael and Dylan. Those are the guys that are going to replace us in the day. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm a little, and that's a good thing. And I want to, I want to encourage that.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. You have to. Like, everybody's talking about want to invest in the future of the sport. Well, here it is. It's the kids that are, in college and high school, and if you got to start that now, it has to start now, in order to be where we want it to be in the next few years, sooner than later, obviously.
And I got to say, shout out to you, Frankie, dude. Like, I know we talked about this last year, and I was like, dude, we got to start a college series. And yes, it's small, but dude, doing that event, taking those photos, I was so jacked up, literally so jacked up, having so much fun watching these kids fish and get to experience that tournament level. And just, I can't wait. I can't wait for Cayuga. I can't wait for the Susky. Yeah, Greg, we're going to the Susky. for our third event of the season. So we're going to be up there chasing those big smallies. So I just can't wait to see these kids, grow as anglers and, start, I know none of them are freshmen, but, who knows, next season we get some freshmen or this year, and then see them by senior year, just, killing it. That's what I'm looking forward to. So shout out to you, Frank.
If you're bringing down to Florida, let me know. I'll get involved. I'll help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome. Championship down in Florida. Awesome. Well, listen, boys, we're running out almost an hour and a half. I want to give you all your due diligence to, one, thank you all for hopping on. It's late Friday night. I know, I don't know about you college boys. I don't know. You're going to the bar after this. What are you doing?
I'm going to bed. I'm going to the Conowingo tomorrow morning.
You're going where?
Maryland. I'm going to Maryland to fish tomorrow morning, so I gotta get to bed.
You going striper fishing?
Huh?
You going striper fishing, or you going?
No. I'm gonna go for some smallies, shad, walleye. See what hits.
Nice. This kid's going. He's got to go to bed early. He's got to go fish. I got to go to bed early so I can coach a 3rd, 4th grade soccer game, dude. I don't enjoy it. Nice, but I just want to appreciate you guys for hopping on. And so we'll just go around the horn. If you have personal sponsors, school, anybody that supports you, this is a great time to let people know about that. Also, where they can follow you if you're on social media and you want people to kind of support what you got going on. So let's start. Kyle, let's start with you, buddy.
Well, there's quite an extensive sponsor list because we are a college team. So there's quite a few, to say thank you to. But our biggest sponsor when it comes down to it is the university itself. And obviously I get to run it. Jake coaches it, and that's the biggest part of it. But we have like a budget of roughly $3,000 for every semester to work with, and that's what allows us to go on these trips with them. We have Fisher Dye Bait Company, which is sleeve.
Yeah,
in Pennsylvania.
Taylor.
They support us big time. We're working with. I actually have the rod with me. Accidental, but we work with iRod, which are actually based out of California. All my bedfish actually came off of this. They make awesome rods, and they're a huge help to college anglers. They offer a really nice discount, and the owner, Matt, is he's a wonderful dude to work with. But I'm missing a ton of other sponsors. Rabbit Baits also, they give us a large chunk to fish. So the list goes on, but I'll cut it short and go to the next person. But yeah, thank you.
All right, hold on. So this is opportunity because people are going to be watching this. Let's just say somebody watching is like, I like these kids, like what they got going on. They want to support you. They want to donate, right? This is the next part to learn how to get sponsorships. If someone wanted to donate to the club, right, or to whatever Kutztown's got going on, where can they reach out to you to talk about that?
So if you do want to contact me and Jake's team, you're able to find us on social media. It's just Kutztown_bass_fishing, or you can reach out to Jake Stem. He's got his Instagram is plugged as his name, Jake_Stem_fishing. That's the best way to contact us. And we're pretty quick to answer. So that's the best way. And just if you do follow our social media, we have I want to say we're around 7,000, maybe 8,000 followers. So it's a good following, but every event that we do is posted there. Every fundraiser we have coming up, you'll be able to see it there. And that's, we run social media fundraisers coming up this fall will be our big one. We raised somewhere around $1,400, which was able to help us purchase our first pedal drive, which got Michael Boyer on his first kayak tournament.
There you go.
Just, if you pay attention to our social medias and what we post, or even if you want to come fish for us, just message us. I'm the one who answers most of it. I'm always happy to talk and answer questions. So, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Appreciate it, brother. All right, Michael, let's take it down to you, sir.
Yeah, I don't have any personal, but I'm gonna thanks for the Kutztown, obviously, and Kyle getting me on that kayak. Getting a team kayak, it was really cool to get on there. And yeah, I mean, it's they're just all their sponsors that for Kutztown and everything. I mean, I got hooked up with some tackle, I know, and it was great using it. I use it, but yeah, just all the sponsors like Kyle was saying. There's too many to list right now, but it's great. We should get some more sponsors, obviously, and it would I'm just trying to help these guys grow the the Kutztown Club too, because I love this. I like to see it grow too, and
Nice.
It'd be great to see it.
Yeah, and also it's like it's okay to not like. I know, like this made me think about it, right, Michael? Because I was like, hey, your turn, and you were like, oh, I don't have any personal sponsors, and it got me thinking really quick, like that's so attached to this sport. This is so attached.
Yeah.
Everybody with personal sponsors or team sponsors or organization, like. What I would tell you is don't worry about that stuff, right? So like if I was going to give any advice to any young angler, don't worry, and it's not a big deal if you're not walking around with a jersey with some patch on it, right? In hindsight, no one gives a crap, right? Just be good, keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. All that stuff will fall in place, and it doesn't mean someone looks down on you if you say, "Oh, I don't have any sponsors." Don't worry about that. Right, just fish and love it for what it is. Everything else will fall in place. But that just got me thinking because I didn't want you to think like, oh, I don't have any spot like that. Feel embarrassed. Like no one cares. I don't have personal sponsors. You know what I mean? None of these sponsors are for Frankie Provolone. It's for everybody else. Right, just so you know that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Greg, let's take it up to you, Mr. 25 3/4.
Yeah, well, the only sponsor I really have is Mondo's Fishing. I don't go looking for sponsors. There's a lot of guys that do. I just fish because my career was in law enforcement and I needed a de-stressor. So I got into kayak fishing. Brother. Loved it, man. And that was one thing that helped me get through. So I wasn't about the sponsors. I was about going out fishing and enjoying the nature and everything else like that and God's creation. So that's what I did. But I'm down here now. I'm involved a little bit more in it. I want to make a shout out to the Sunshine State Swamp Donkeys. We're part of the KBT. What was the KFL? Now the KBT Kayak Bass Teams. And we're hitting it hard, and we're going to be going throughout Florida and Georgia or Alabama, I guess. And that's really it. That and Mondo's Fishing Company. That's my team.
Nice.
And I do want to promote Slay Nation. When I moved up here I moved down here on a Thursday. Got hooked up with a tournament director that night and was fishing in the Slay Nation tournament on the next Saturday. So awesome. That kind of helped me out, get acclimated, got me know people in Florida right away that liked the same thing that I did. I'm a tournament director of my own club now. It's not a Slay Nation, but it's a Bass Nation. But I made sure I made my tournament dates different than Slay Nation so I can still fish Slay Nation.
Sweet.
I love the Slay Nation stuff. You can, and I do want to say thanks to Josiah because he runs a good tournament.
Oh, hell yeah. He's a good guy, man.
And I enjoy it. So
awesome. Appreciate
it. Hey, me.
Do you know who made the KBT logo, the KBT series logo? That was me, dog.
Good job, Frankie.
I was
right. That's right. You're on a team this year, aren't you?
No. I owned a KFL team. But we're not participating this season with the KBT with everything. We're gonna wait, see how it goes. We're not fully out of it. We just want to see how it goes.
No, I understand.
Like I'm still in the chats, and that's what I saw people making logos, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make one on a whim, and I said, hey, use this if you want. If not, but I just thought I whatever. I like doing that stuff, but yeah. Man, that's Slay Nation blood right there. Yeah, but we appreciate you, and good luck this season, and tell Russ and the rest of the Swamp Donkeys. Who's on the Swamp? Hey, Jimmy Merritt. Who else is on there?
Jimmy Merritt, Conrad Benetti.
Yep, Conrad. Yep.
Richard White's senior and the third. Bob Brisky.
Oh yeah.
Robert Brooks. And myself.
Mr. Brooks. Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Brooks. Yep.
And Russ.
Snyder. Yeah, he's the chief. Russ Kennedy is the chief.
Yeah, Russ is a good guy. He's a crazy dude. Nice. Awesome. Good peeps. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Jake.
What up? All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go. I won't go too crazy with the sponsors, but first off,
you're on
I just want to thank Slay Nation, Frankie. You're the man, Slay Ray. And if it wasn't for Slay Nation, that got me into kayak fishing. I did the co-angling stuff, but I got local into it, and shout out to you guys for being awesome and creating everything you've created. But personal sponsors, Z-Pro Lithium works with Slay Nation. I got the 100 amp hour Bluetooth the day before we left. And I took that thing down there, dude, and I ran it almost dead every day. 15 miles probably. So Kyle's got one too. He's on the pro staff, Z-Pro. He's got 100 amp hour as well. Dude, I used his motor guide bed fishing. Like, I was jealous I didn't have a motor guide after that tournament, watching him taking photos. I was like, damn, I need one of those. But Z-Pro, Rabbit Baits, who else? Old Town. I'm on the Old Town team this year. Huge shout out to Old Town. Awesome kayaks. VFX Wraps. They also go by YFX Wraps. They started doing kayak wraps. If you're in the Northeast, they're in Northwest Jersey. And Ryan and I just got his kayak wrap by them too. I got my wrap by them. Greg De Palma. They wrap a lot of kayaks in the Northeast, dude. They come out so clean. My boat looks like a brand new kayak. It's awesome. So huge shout out to them. It came out so good. Who knows? Maybe Kutztown kayaks will get wrapped. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens there. But huge shout out to my sponsors and just an awesome time. I'll be fishing a couple tournaments this year, not as many as I did last year, just being so busy. But I'm excited to keep directing the College Series, Cayuga Lake, Civil War. I'll be fishing that. And then 2 weeks later, the College Series there, man. It's going to be a good couple weeks in upstate New York.
Oh, yeah, it is. All right. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for hopping on, obviously, dude. And running the College Series, right? Small steps, so we'll get there. All right, Slay Ray, man.
Yeah,
what's up?
I'd just like to, thank my personal sponsors, Mercedes-Benz and Nike. No, really, though, the 6 title sponsors, all the guys involved in Slay Nation, and thank them all. You guys for being a part of Slay Nation out there, slaying all the time. It's really awesome. I know Dylan bounced off. That's because he's hopefully going to shoot a turkey tomorrow, and that's what I look forward to doing now that I'm only going to get 5 hours of sleep being here with you all.
You're welcome.
Nice. All right, y'all. Well, listen. Yeah.
Dylan doesn't have any. I know Dylan's brand new in tournament fishing, and dude, he's got the bug. You can ask Kyle, dude. That was his first tournament, and he came home, dude. And he was like, "When's the next one? When's this? Awesome, when's that?" Man. He's looking, dude. Yeah. He's got the bug. He's got no personal sponsors, but maybe a Texas rig sponsor after I told him to throw that and took the win.
We're gonna test him next time. He comes on live. He's gonna have to show us how to Texas rig live.
Yeah.
Tell him to practice.
And I wanted to add, he is. It was the night before the tournament. It was about 4 hours before we had to get up, and he was on the deck of our Airbnb in his underwear and no shirt, trying to catch striped bass with me. We pushed the grill out of the way, and we're flipping off the top of the deck, trying to catch striped bass.
So they were busting bait till like 2 a.m.
Dedicated. Yeah.
Enjoy it, boys. You're in a time of your life right now. 20s, 30s, single.
Man, nothing, listen how old you sound, Frankie. Hey, you guys enjoy your time.
I'm saying enjoy it. All right. We're living through you now. Awesome. Well, listen, boys and gents and men, have a great weekend. Can't wait to see what happens in the future. Maybe you'll be back on Slay Station. Stay tuned for next Friday night, though. Slay Station Civil War Edition, Pennsylvania versus New York, Cayuga Lake. Right, so we'll see what happens. And the next College Kayak Series event is when, Jake? May
27th, Cayuga Lake.
There it is. Cayuga is a specialty this month, or next month. So appreciate y'all. Enjoy it. Go check out all of our sponsors and follow us on Slay Nation Tournament Fishing on all of our social media platforms. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the Slayers. And Ray's wearing the jersey right there, actually. So that's one of our test jerseys. Z-Pro's making them all. We have jerseys coming in. Oh, he disappeared.
I can't stand up. You can still see right there.
That's a test jersey. They're our nicest jerseys yet, meaning they're fully sublimated, all that fancy stuff. We have 600 jerseys coming in within the next few days, and then we'll ship those out to members that signed up early. So stay tuned. So y'all be looking fancy. So have a great weekend, y'all. And as always, peace, love, and slay all day. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See you guys.
Ciao.
See ya.
Yeah.